It's time. It's game on. Welcome back. Day 3 of the Best-Selling Book Bootcamp, Game Changer Edition 2025. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm honored and thrilled that you're here. Can we take a deep breath and set an intention that we have an extraordinary time and that you hear exactly what you need to move you forward today? That you are sourced and supported, that you feel your inspiration, your clarity, the momentum, and that this is the week and the day and the year that changes the game for you. Yes, I'm loving it too, Jackie. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, do you want to see something cool? You guys want to see something cool? All right, I'm going to show you this. This is just a little thing. Christina Niles actually just shared that she turned in her manuscript to the publisher, and I want to show you all something, and then I'm gonna have Tanya share something with us too. All right. So before we watch this, before I pull this up, who did a story bank yesterday? Who did a story bank? Put SB in the chat. If you developed something for your book, you did a story bank, you thought of some content for your book, you worked on your book map, you did something to move your book forward. Woo! Yes, some of you like so much in your story. Look, I have chills. Look at all this momentum that happened on these books in just like less than 24 hours. That is awesome. Can you give yourself a pat on the back? I know it feels cheesy, but you know what? It's a big deal. You could have just watched a movie. You could have just gone and eaten ice cream. You could have just gone and, scrolled on social media. But you wrote yesterday. You created something. You went from consumer to creator in hopefully a way beyond what you've done before. Okay. It felt fun and not heavy, Angela. Yay. I love it. Look at progress. Doesn't progress feel good? Doesn't it feel amazing? I think a day that I write is like already a win. Even if nothing else happens and I wrote something that day and created that day, it's a win. So I want to show you something cool that you heard from Amanda yesterday and Chris Williams on Monday. You're hearing from some of our authors this week, and a group of us that had books all coming out this year in November went to Times Square. It was chilly that day too. And the photographer, the videographer just sent this over. And I just wanted to show you since we're in the boot camp. Check this out. We're just going to watch this real quick. Carl here. Carl, come say hi, everybody. Good to meet you guys. Like, what are your feelings right now?
Having the visibility on the billboard in Times Square was the highlight of my year, if not my life. My book is part memoir, part guide for anyone seeking to break free from what holds them back, whether it's an addiction like I had or something else. My goal is to spread hope, resilience, and freedom to thousands, if not millions, who feel stuck and are ready to reclaim their power.
Guys, that's Christina, who's right here in the room with us. And we had this group. Oh, it was a choppy video. Oh no. Well, I hope that it played okay for most of you. So congratulations, Christina, for finishing your book today. And Tanya, will you come up here because you were there? We were there in Times Square together. So Jill, if you can bring Tanya up, because it wasn't that long ago. It was just it feels like a couple weeks ago that we were together seeing Christina's book and Tanya's book and Amanda's book up there. And I just am so excited as I reflect back, and we just got sent these videos. It's been so awesome to see like how that all came together. Who wants to be on a billboard in Times Square with your book? I want to see a T for Times Square. If you are sitting here now going like, I would like that sounds really awesome. Yeah. And it's super exciting, right? So Jill, if you can pop Tanya up here with me, and Tanya, I want to let everyone know as you're coming up, Tanya wrote this incredible book, this powerful story, Up from the Water, this journey of identity, grace, and redemption. And Tanya, you had your book up in Times Square, right? But we want to talk about why you wrote it and what that was like for you. So let's see. I don't know why it's being funky, but I'm going to just see if I can do it. Or Mariette, if you're a host, bring Tanya up here so we can hear. Tanya, go ahead and unmute, and I'm gonna pet your new baby. You've got a newborn. So What was that like for you when you saw your book go up like we showed Christina's?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll give you a brief answer to that, but then I have to talk about just the whole value of TLA in that process because it's been an incredible journey. But culminating in November, and then of course now when I actually finally have the books as well. But just I knew what the book looked like. I knew what the billboard was going to look like because I'd seen the design. I knew what Times Square looked like because I'd been there before. But something about just kind of walking around that corner and looking up and there it was my book, my face in this big. And of course when you see your face this big you think about everything that's wrong with it, right? But just it made it so real and it brought it to life and it made the whole experience tangible in a way that brought up emotions and a spiritual experience that I wasn't even expecting, and it was just so special. So Sarah, thank you for creating that opportunity for us and for everything that you've done.
Well, thank you for being such a powerful leader. I think of you, Tanya, so much when the phrase "a leader for such a time as this." And, I'm showing your gorgeous picture back here. I know a lot of people in the chat are like, look at that cover. It's so beautiful. Isn't that stunning? That's Claudine Mansouri, who works with us at Thought Leader Academy Publishing. I give her all the credit on these gorgeous covers. But Tanya, why did you write this? Like, what was so important for you and you knew you had to do a book?
Yeah, I had it on my heart to do a book. I had it on my heart to do a book for a while, and I was trying to write it, and it wasn't coming, and I don't know why it wasn't coming, or I didn't at the time. And so I went looking and came across in my own way Sarah. I'm sure you all found her, each of you in your own way, and binge watched a bunch of her videos. Like Sarah tells us, it takes a certain number of experiences with somebody before you actually step into what they have to offer. Binge watched a bunch of her videos, figured out that she and all y'all were probably my people. So I signed up for the boot camp, just like this one. This January, I was sitting in the exact same
Yeah,
seat
1 year ago.
1 year ago. And that boot camp and subsequently joining Thought Leader Academy literally has changed my life. It not only birthed a book, but it changed my life. Because what Sarah has been teaching us here and what she has been teaching us in Thought Leader Academy is what exactly does it mean to be a thought leader? And my book wasn't coming because I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why I was writing a book. And I tell you, and this is something I think that everyone on this call is going to need to really spend some time with, that if you are writing this book for yourself, it becomes a vanity project. It's like, oh, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm the smartest person that ever was, and I know more about this than anybody, and that's why you should look at me, and that's why you should read my book or listen to my talk or engage with me. And people are going to see right through that. It's going to be hollow, and they're going to know that it's all about you. If you are doing it for others, it's better, but still, I mean, and you still have to do it for yourself, because if you're not, if you don't put your own mask on, you're not helping anybody else. But then if you go out and you look at all the research about what the market wants right now and what's popular and what's trending, that's important too. You must do that. But even still, if that's only it, and you're putting out what you think people want, it's like giving somebody a sugary drink, right? They're satisfied for a moment, but it's not really nourishing them and changing them in any way. That's not being a thought leader. That's being a thought follower.
Mm.
If you are writing it because of some higher purpose, whatever that means to you, if you look inside and you really go to the mat about, how am I uniquely built? What message do I uniquely have to bring to the world because of my personality and my skills and my lived experiences? And what am I here to bring that's different, or bring it in a way that's different from how anybody else can? Now you're writing a book, now you're creating a TED Talk or whatever creative project it is that you're working on that is going to transform lives, that is going to not be that sugary drink, but that is going to change that person's entire health, whether it's their physical health, their mental health, their emotional health, their professional health, their spiritual health. You are helping to transform that because you understand that that's what you are uniquely all about. And I tell you what, when you do that, if you're just writing for others and being a thought follower and you're out there in that sea of trying to jump on the trend bandwagon, you're going to be a commodity. You're going to be one more voice in the chorus. If you're writing what you only can do, you're going to be in a class of one, and there won't be any competition. So yes, you will be fulfilled. And yes, you will give other people things that they want, but there will be such transformation going on in other people's lives
Mm.
that you'll feel good, they'll feel good, but it will have an effect that will start a movement, and people will not be able to get enough of you. And
Anya, yes. I'm like, yes, we're in the chat. Preach.
and writing the book that I wrote, I'm now writing a second book, by the way. Writing
Yeah.
this book turned out to be my process of figuring out my why. And I documented it along the way. And the book itself, I'm already hearing from people, all over that I've never met before. I mean, thanks to Thought Leader Publishing, it hit bestseller on day one. I have friends. I don't have that many friends. So, you know, I'm hearing from people all over that something in that book and reading about my journey spoke to them. So you can even do thought leadership in a memoir. But in the
Yes.
process of doing that, and this is the last point I'll make, and then I'm going to give the microphone back because I know you have lots to do today. In the process of doing that, I am now writing a second book, which is a true high converting thought leader book. Working title right now is Why Matters. And if you don't get that why, you can write all day long, and yeah, you'll have a book. And yet you might even have a following if you give people a bunch of sugary drinks. But what are you really all about? So soapbox moment finished, but this is just thank you to Sarah, because you look around this room and you see some people who are here for the first time, and you see people who have been here for years. And people come to Sarah because they see the sugar. They stay with Sarah because they get the meat.
Anya, thank you so much for saying yes to your why and being the real deal. We talked on Monday here about, luckily the world doesn't want the fake anymore. They want the real deal. They want to do what you're doing, which is to bring something that only you can bring. And it just makes me cry when I think about your journey with this book and being willing to let it take you on the journey and the who do you become in the process. And now you're writing the second one, and it's unstoppable, right? We played that song. So look, Dion in the chat is saying, I was supposed to write my book 24 years ago. Yeah, I had my books in me for decades, right? And Tanya, you knew for a long time you had a book in you and books, and now you're doing it. So thank you. Thank you for being the incredible leader that you are, your grace, your power, your contribution. And this is now the legacy that's, I'm thinking about the ripples, right? That you're talking about rippling out. So thank you for making time for us in the very busy writing schedule and marketing that you now have. And I'm so happy. I'm so honored to be on the journey with you. Thanks for sharing with us today. Woo! Can we give Tanya some love? I know there's a lot in the chat, Tanya. Go read that. You're like, your words are resonating. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's so good. And Grant, what did you say? Your first book couldn't wait to get out. Yeah, they won't wait, right? They won't wait. So thank you to Tanya, and thank you to Christina for sharing your celebrations. We do a thing called the win streak in Thought Leader Academy, where we're like acknowledging the milestones and wins. So getting the manuscript done, writing one story bank, writing a chapter, like these are big wins. And when we just build on that, we just keep building one after the other. That's what Tanya did. That's what we're working on in here. So all of you that are here, Tanya was 1 year ago today. So I want to hear it in the chat. Who wants to be here 1 year from now? The book's out. People are being changed. Lives are transforming. You're hearing about it. Your bestseller. The book's up in Times Square billboards. Yes. All right. So we're going to do, it's so perfect to have Tanya. We didn't plan it this way, but it was so perfect, Tanya, that you got to come on today and share, because what we are doing, Stasia is ready for that billboard. Dion's ready, Erica. So are you guys ready to do this for real? Are we ready to use brain science today to put us into an unstoppable state so that this vision becomes a reality for you, that you are going to do this? Are we ready to really be, we crossed the line on day one, and now we're going to be embodying, and we're going to be using neuroscience to create such a state of alignment and embodiment that this success that you have called in is inevitable. And when we say success here, like Tanya said, we're not just talking about personal success. It's success in changing lives. It's success in making this earth a better place. So it's a win, win, win. Yeah, Allison's claiming the bestseller spot for 2025. Let's go. All right, so I'm going to show you a technique that I said I would show you today on how we can actually do that. We're going to do it right here and right now in the next sort of 15 minutes. All right. Are we ready? Let me get a ready in the chat. If our minds and hearts are open, we're going to open up even the subconscious mind, and we're going to use science to be able to make this happen. And we're going to start building our success plan. Okay, here we go. So just making sure, I always have to ask because Zoom can be a little weird, making sure we see the, of course, now it's, oh my goodness, this thing has gone, it's gone berserk. My slides have gone berserk. So yeah, you're envisioning being on Oprah. So everyone just start envisioning all those wins like Tanya shared, like you saw Christina, and then let me get this little puppy to play for us. Okay. All right. So this is, why is it not? Let me just get to, I'm going to try one more thing. We will not be deterred. We are unstoppable. Okay, here we go. Are we seeing that? Beautiful, beautiful. Day 3, here we go. How are we going to use brain science? We're going to use a technique that I found out after I've been using this on myself and teaching it, that Silicon Valley engineers, and I found this out from one of our Thought Leader Academy clients, Parul Samani, and Parul and I were working one-on-one together, and Parul is, like all of you sitting here, an absolute consummate badass. She has presented and has degrees from Harvard and MIT. She's presented at Stanford. She's spoken at the White House. She does incredible work around both cancer treatment and also a life of no regrets. Right? Isn't that cool? Like absolutely the path of no regrets. So anyway, Parul, I was teaching this technique that I'm going to share with you. And she said, oh, that's what we do in Silicon Valley. That's what the engineers do. And I said, they do? Engineers are doing this kind of woo-woo technique that I teach writers. And she said, well, we don't think of it as woo-woo, but yeah. So essentially what she said is that anytime the engineers she was working with at Google and different companies would think about designing a new product, they would not start developing the product. They would not start figuring out the R&D and the where everything was going to go. Instead, they got together and came in a room and they wrote the press release for the product that they were going to create. Now, why would we do this? They wrote the press release first because they knew that if they came together and dreamed the impact that this product would have, the game changer that it was destined to be, then they would reverse engineer the product to live up to the press release. They started, as the Buddhists have taught us for thousands of years, with the end in mind. But not just reverse engineering a cool product. They started with the transformation, the impact that this new invention would have on the world, how it was going to be a game changer, and then began the reverse engineering and the development process. So we are going to do that right now together. We're going to get it started and you're going to finish it as a homework. We are going to write the press release for the product that you're creating. And what is that product? It's your best-selling book. We're going to write the press release first here in the boot camp. And then we're going to allow that to pull the greatness out of us, because anything we program our reticular activating system to go and find and do for us, it will find and do. It will bring us the ideas, the people, the places, the things, the synchronicities, and it will bring it forward. So how do you do a book press release? Maybe you've seen one of these, maybe you haven't. This is what publishers send out when a book is getting ready to come out and launch, so that people know to order it or pick it for their book club or the libraries. And it has 4 key components. Yes, and we've got Tanya's book there in the chat for you all, so you can so that you can get a copy of Up From Water. All right, so the book release, the book press release has 4 components. I'm going to walk you through. I know it's too small to see on this screen, but I'll walk you through it. And there's some prompts in your workbook. The first thing that a book press release has is a headline. Now you can decide, I want you to choose a headline that has something that matters to you. Remember, Tanya just talked about the power of, your why, right? So if you want to have your book win an award, or you want your book to impact a certain number of people, or you want your book to do something to change the world, then you would put that in the headline. This is an actual book press release from one of my books, a fiction collection. And the headline is National Book Award nominee, because I was very blessed to get a National Book Award nomination for this short story collection. National Book Award nominee Sarah Cannell to release new short story collection. So you're going to insert a cool thing that you would love to see happen, your name, and then say to release new, and you're going to put in your book category. Tanya Simpson, a game changer, world leader, world thought leader, Tanya Simpson to release new memoir, Up From Water. Okay, so you're going to pick a book headline. You might not care about awards. You care about, something else. You put in the headline the thing that you care about. Okay, Put a number 1 in the chat if you've got this. The first part of your press release is going to be a headline that says something cool, your name, and the kind of book you're writing. Just do a 1 so I know we're tracking together. Okay, awesome. Okay. Next, the second part of your book press release is a little biography about you, just a little paragraph. Now, you're not going to write the one of you today. Remember, we're being like the Silicon Valley engineers. You're going to write the press release or the part of this press release, your bio, based on the amazing things that you've done in your fully actualized self. So if you want, some of you said, I envision myself on Oprah, I envision myself, you're going to put that in this little bio, okay? You're going to say your name, best-selling author of 7 books. Maybe you have a vision to be prolific and write many books. The thought leader known for helping cure X ailment, the national leading parenting coach, right? You're going to put the things you want to see happen in this section of your press release called your bio. So put bio in the chat if you get the idea that you're not writing today's biography, you're writing your future fully actualized bio that you would love to have read when you're being interviewed on National Public Radio or Super Soul Sunday or the Tim Ferriss podcast, or like whatever it is that you would love, right? It's the little piece they read about all the cool stuff that you've done. Okay. Part 3 is a little synopsis of your book. Now, why is this useful to do before we've even written our books, or if you're just getting started? This is such a powerful tool because when people ask you what your book's about, you're not going to go, and give them a 95 dissertation type of answer, 95-point dissertation answer like I used to do, because it's very hard. We have this big, cool project in our head to give a very succinct description. It's about this. Readers learn this. It helps people do this. So this exercise alone is going to help you attract speaking engagements and podcast episodes and things, because you're going to be able to quickly say what your book's about, how it helps people, what they learn, and you're going to be very articulate about it, right? So put 3, if this piques Mason. Yes, it clarifies our intent. Exactly. Okay. Final part 4 of your press release. Hopefully this will be very fun. You're going to think of a couple awesome leaders in your industry that you would love to do what's called blurb your book. That's basically those little endorsements that you see on books that say, this is a must read. I couldn't put this book down. This book is awesome. Oprah, right? And you're going to think of some awesome leaders that you would just be doing what I call naked cartwheels, which just means I'm so excited. I'm just going, and those people would be saying something really awesome about your book and putting their name on your book. Okay. So those are your book endorsements, and you're going to think of a few. Remember, you're not doing this based on who you know now. This is your wave the magic wand scenario. Who is endorsing your book, right? That's what we want to go to next. So who can already think of someone? I want to hear in the chat, someone that you would love. You would be beside yourself. You'd be texting everyone you know, jumping up and down and going, right? Because you had this person saying, this is an important book. I want everyone seeing this to read it. So go ahead and think of someone right now that would just be putting you over the moon to have endorsed your book. Awesome. Al Roker on the 3rd hour of the Today Show. RFK for Newberry, Allison. Okay, let's see who else. Who is going to be endorsing these books? Cheryl Strayed, Amy Grant, the head of Food Banks International, Mel Robbins, Stephen King, Michelle Obama, Rick Hansen. Oh, this is so exciting. Amazing, you guys. Keanu Reeves, Stasha. Yes. And he loves books. He funds independent bookstores and English speaking bookstores in other countries than America. That's awesome. Oh, I love it, Melissa. Sarah Cannell, you know it. You know, I've got you, girl. Yes. Okay. So you all are getting it. Brian Scott, Mariette, and I love listening to Brian Scott. Amazing. Sean Korn, Joyce Meyer. You guys get this, right? You get this. So this is, and you could pick who you want to do the forward to your book. So in your workbooks, oh, where's my little list? You're going to have your 4 components of your book press release. And this is going to be a homework. We're going to start right now. We're going to take the next 3 or 4 minutes. And I just want you to pick one of these sections and just get something started. Ernest Hemingway famously never finished a writing session at the end of a sentence. He would, apparently, according to legend, he would write and quit in the middle of a sentence so that the next day when he came back to pick up his short story or his novel, he wouldn't feel so intimidated by what to write next. He just said, well, I just have to finish the sentence. So I want us to create that with your press release. I want to invite you to pick, we're going to take 3 minutes, all time, and you're going to either work on a headline, work on that future bio, work on a little bit of your book synopsis, or think of those blurbs by those people you just wrote down. Okay, maybe get one blurb done. All right, ready, set, go. Book press release, 3 minutes to get it started. Go, go, go. If you've just joined us, we are writing our book press release. You can grab the workbook link. Team, if you can drop that again. And we're going to spend the next 2 minutes getting it started. Start to bring your thoughts to a pause in the middle of your thought, because we're gonna use Hemingway's strategy of being able to stop in the middle of a sentence so that you can continue this as your homework tonight. Who feels like you got some energy flowing? Who feels like you can sort of start to sense where the Isabel's feeling it? Okay, awesome. So you're going to finish this as part of your homework tonight, and that's going to help propel you. Remember, this is working on a neuroscience level because it's programming your brain for success. It's having your reticular activating system go start to bring you ideas and synchronicities from within and around. And then you are going to also be activating the external benefits of doing the press release, because you're going to be able to talk about your book and articulate it while you're writing, and do what we heard our Audrey and Chris and Amanda and Tanya and people talking about already, doing things before the book comes out around those book outcomes. Okay, so great stuff. Great job. Let's give everyone some high tens, some hearts, like we're going to do this thing. All right. Now, I got really, really good. Do we have the images back up? Do you see a woman taking a deep breath? Yeah, okay. So I got really, really good at a certain point in being able to visualize that future bio, right? I could see the ways that I wanted to give to people on stages the way that I'd received so well. I could see that book and holding it in my hand and paying that gift forward of the book that saved my life in the airport bookstore that I shared about on day one. I could feel it and I could see it. But the problem for me was that there felt like there was this Grand Canyon size gap between where I was in reality and what was on that future bio, that press release. Does anyone else feel that at all? Maybe in general, maybe today with what's on your vision board? Put me in the chat if you feel like you can see it, taste it, touch it, smell it. You could write it down, but there feels like this big, big, big gap. Or yeah, heck yes, me. Okay, so I'm not alone, right? And this is what was coming up. And what resulted, because I felt like there was this big gap, I did nothing. I got really stuck for a really long time. Who shared earlier, they've known they need to write this book for 24 years. That's what happened. I knew it, I felt it, but I couldn't get myself to do anything much, or I'd start and stop. So I shared with you yesterday that I reverse engineered 100 New York Times bestsellers in order to figure out a book framework for thought leader books. And before I ever got to the point to be able to do that, I did another 100. And this 100 was, I've got to figure out what these authors are doing. There are people who are publishing books. They are changing lives. They're making an impact. They're creating abundance. How are they doing it? And so I was looking for the common denominators, not what everyone did that was weird on their own, but what were the, not weird, but just, the unusual things. What were the things that all these authors did? And I found that every single person who published one of the incredible bestsellers that I loved, that had made a positive impact on my life, had 3 things. So I want you to pay, these are in your workbook. You might even want to write them down as we go through, because these are the 3 things that are going to take you to where you want to go. The first thing they all had was a proven roadmap and strategy. They had a strategy and some actual firm, actions to take that would help them with the craft of writing, with getting published. They had a roadmap and they had a strategy. The second thing they all had was every single one of them that I researched, reading their memoirs, listening to their interviews, consuming their content, they all had worked with some kind of a mentor, an editor, a coach, a teacher, a guide of some kind. Every single one of them, without exception. Like, no one just wrote their book of these people that I researched and just was like, that was it. They all had a mentor. And what really left me gobsmacked was that they were not working in isolation. These authors were sharing, they were in communities, they would go to each other's things, they would show each other pages, they would get feedback. They were generating, like the lost generation artists that I'd studied in art history who were painting in salons, the writers were sharing with each other too. And I couldn't believe it, because writing was about the room of your own and being in the mountain and being in the, the hermit in the cave, right? And I was really comfortable there. The problem was I had nothing to show. I couldn't get myself in action and stay in action. So these are the 3 things: the proven roadmap, the mentorship, and the community that these authors all had. And I didn't have any of them. So it really wasn't a surprise anymore why I was stuck and why nothing was happening, even though I had this deep craving. And since then, I've done extensive research on this. And people like Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, others actually have brought forth research that's been done that from peer-reviewed, studies that show that our financial prosperity, like how much money we make in a given year, our health, our physical health, our happiness, even how long we will live, will be determined by the 5 people or groups with whom we spend the most time. How long we will live, the impact we will have. It was staggering to me to hear this. And I heard it over and over from many different people and many different sources until it finally sunk in. In fact, other research showed that people who worked with a mentor who could see a bigger vision for them, whether it was in the corporate world, the philanthropic world, the literary world, created 500% more results, 500% more impact on lives and income generated, 500%. And so it really got me thinking about what I call the 3 families. Like, we have a family of origin, we're born into, or whoever raised us, that might not be the same family, but whoever kind of brought us up. And then many of us might talk about having a family of choice, right? A family of choice of where the people we love, our friends, our colleagues, people we love spending time with that feel like family. But what I had never understood was that there's a third family that's crucial if I wanted to go where I had seen on my vision board and in that future bio, and it was the family of success. The family of success was like, where am I going to be in the room with other people? I had wonderful people in my life, but none of them were publishing best-selling books. None of them were generating the kind of impact and income and contribution and legacy that I wanted to create. And so it wasn't about abandoning anyone in my life. Of course, I didn't do that, but I did know I needed to get in different rooms, virtual, literal, metaphorical. I needed to create a family of success. So just put success in the chat if this resonates with you. And what we're going to work on, we're going to start today and we're going to build on through the rest of the boot camp, through our write-in on Saturday, is your success plan, right? What's going to be your roadmap, community, mentorship, what your family of success, right? And you might already, if you're already in the room with people who've done what you want to do in a way that inspires you and beyond, great. And if not, maybe you're having the moment I had at the beginning of that year in January, like, oh, I get to do some things differently, right? So I didn't want to. I didn't want to hire a coach. I didn't want to do any of it, but I was so stuck and I was about to lose the biggest opportunity that ever happened, which was getting my work shown to a literary agent. And she gave me some ideas and revisions to do, and I got completely paralyzed and I couldn't touch my computer for 3 weeks. And I knew that if I stayed on this path and didn't have that family of success, the roadmap, the community, the mentorship, I was done. It was out. This agent didn't know me. She wasn't like, oh, your book's amazing. She said she might consider possibly, maybe, potentially representing me. And so I made the choice to stop doing this by myself, and I started putting the pieces together. And what was so awesome is that decision to finally think about the 5 people in groups and get a family of success took my real life, which was a struggling coach, aspiring writer to make $30,000 a year, to all the doors opening that we've talked about. The book outcomes that were calling to me about changing lives and sharing from the stage and putting the best-selling books out there and Oprah and TEDx and all the things. And I vowed in that moment when that happened for me that I was going to spend the rest of my life making sure that other people that had this dream, this calling to get something important, the story, the mission, whatever it was in the world, I was going to do whatever was in my power to make sure that that happened. And it was awesome, because I started helping people write books, right? Because that's what I'd done. I went back and got my master's. I did all these things. We started writing books, and the books were great. And we even figured out a system on our own to, unknowns, to get on the bestseller list. And we created a whole strategy around it. But the problem is when we just have the book, right? We have the credibility, we have the flag in the ground, and that is awesome. And it's a lot. But unless we already have a huge audience, not enough people know about the books. Does anyone feel like the current people that already know about you is the whole universe of people you want to impact? Just put no in the chat if you know that it's not all, you're not already like at the full. No, heck no. Are you kidding me? None of us, we are just getting started. All of us, right? In the impact that we get to make. So then it was like, okay, well, what needs to happen? So what I found and, was seeing in some of our clients is then great. Then we're going to add in speaking. Right? And yeah, you're in front of more people. So you have that even more credibility and you have more visibility. But unless we're Taylor Swift selling out the Eras Tour in huge NFL stadiums, right? We still likely are not making the impact piece. We have the some visibility, we have that authority, we have that expertise. So then it was about, okay, how do we find the people we're here to serve and create community around that? And that's incredible. And then it was like, okay, start putting that puzzle piece together. But the problem, if we have the writing and the speaking and we're finding the people, but we don't have a way to create income from that, it can feel really hard. So then the mission became, how do we monetize the book? And that's what we're going to teach on day 5. How do we develop 6 or 7 figures a year through our thought leadership, through our mission, through our passion? And that is phenomenal. And the only downside to when we have all these things together that I could find is, oh, guess what shows up? The gremlins, imposter syndrome. Does anyone have that this week? Like, is anyone getting who are you to write a book? You're not a celebrity, or the judgments and fears. What are my family going to think? What are my kids going to think? What are my parents going to think? Put G for gremlins if you've had any resistant thoughts this week as you've been so courageously coming here and showing up and starting to put your book together? Yeah, some of you are like, nope, I'm over it. All right. A lot of us are like, yep, gremlins, right? So then it was about, how do we create leadership? Tanya just spoke to this. Thought leader starts with leading our own thoughts in an empowered direction so that we can be that great leader to others. Okay. So that's kind of how this map all came together, this journey that we're taking through the boot camp, it was coming together. And so that was great. It's like, okay, wonderful. Now I wanted to create a checklist for all of you because you each have different book outcomes. Some of you had one of the book outcomes we discussed on day one, and some of you have a couple, and some of you were all of the above, right? And so we have this for you. And Jill, I think we have just a slide. This isn't in the workbook, but if we can, if you can just make sure we do a screenshot of this and include it in the email today. So you're going to have this emailed out to you. And I just wanted to break down for everybody what you're going to need, right? What's your checklist? If your goal is to educate and inspire through your book, you're going to want a great editor. You likely are going to want a writing coach also, and you're going to need a bestseller campaign and strategy, right? Yeah, Stasia, we can do both of those screenshots. You got it. If you want to also speak and do a TEDx talk or just speak or just a TEDx talk, you're going to want everything for your book. Speakers get chosen to be on podcasts, in the media, and for big speaking engagements. 80% more authors do than people that don't have a book. So you're going to want all the stuff for your book, your editor, your coach, plus your speaking coach and a branding coach and your TEDx coach, right? If you also want to have your book be a lead generator, put a $ in the chat if one of your book outcomes was revenue generation, right? Then if that's the case, you're going to want your editor and your book stuff and your speaking stuff. And also you need the business strategy, right? And if you want to be an industry leader, do strategic partnerships, you'll want all of the above, plus you need a visibility strategy, right? You need to know how to get in front of, 100x more people than that currently know about you, okay? So this is your checklist, just so you kind of know, because we're going to be working for the rest of the boot camp, in addition to working on the craft of writing tomorrow, monetizing your book, time strategies, that's all coming up in days 4 and 5. But I want to start our success plans today because we're here together through Saturday so that we can make sure you identify by the time you leave this boot camp Saturday, what strategic roadmap you're going to use, what mentorship and what community you're going to work with in order to make sure that you go all the way, that you don't have this be another thing on the vision board that doesn't all the way actualize per your vision. Okay. Now, when I did this, what happened is I was doing this on my own, chopping through the brush with the machete. It felt like I had to go find a business coach that kind of understood what I wanted to do, but no one really specialized in thought leadership. There was a separate writing coach, but that person didn't edit. So I'd hire an editor, and then I'd hire a TEDx person, a speaking coach. And it took me years, and it cost a lot of money. It cost someone else mentioned the investment, right? $80,000. And our clients were coming and saying, Sarah, I was sending them to a TEDx person and a business coach person and an editor and somewhere. And they're saying, is there any way this could all be in one place? Is there some way that it doesn't have to take? I don't want to spend the time to go find the people, or even if you send me to the people, it's just, there's so many pieces. Can this be part of the pathway? That's how this whole pathway that we've been doing this week emerged, right? And then it didn't just get to create those results for me, but for Tanya and Christina and Amanda and Chris, you've seen this week, and Audrey and everyone you see here, right? And that was the ultimate joy, because that was the vow I made when I sat there driving to Oprah saying, I'm going to make sure that I'm a stand for others to get to do this. All right. So one of your homeworks is your press release. And another homework tonight is you're going to think about what is the strategic roadmap and community and support that you want to use to go all the way with this vision. I know some of you have asked our team and chatting with Marietta, can you work with our team? Can you work with our editors? Can you work together with us in Thought Leader Academy? And absolutely, absolutely. You're part of this boot camp. You're part of our Thought Leader Academy family now. And I promised that I would walk you through what that looks like today, so you have all those details. And there'll be bonus points, any of you that can spot the 3 essential ingredients of going all the way with any goal, because of course we reverse engineered them in our program. So in Thought Leader Academy, just like Tanya said, we take 1 year. It's January now. You take the next year to become a best-selling author, a sought-after speaker, and start to become known as a thought leader in your space, or more known if you already are. and monetizing your book and your mission so that you get to create the impact and income through the work you love, right? So how do we do this? All right. You're going to hear it. Here's the strategic roadmap, right? You've got a proven roadmap, and we have all the on-demand curriculum and trainings available to everyone 365 days a year. There's no dripping out. If you want to binge watch like Netflix, all the stuff on launching your book or all the stuff on TEDx or any of those things, then you will be able to get those on-demand trainings at any time that you want them. And most importantly, we will curate what's in the curriculum for your specific book outcomes and your specific thought leader outcomes, right? So that's the on-demand curriculum. That's your roadmap. Then the mentorship takes place in a few different ways. Everyone, and I think this is so essential, everyone who is working with us in Thought Leader Academy that you've met this week, you will have one-on-one writing coach who is also a professional editor, so that you have someone holding your hand and guiding you through on your timeline, on your book, totally customized to you. That is crucially important, that you have that professional expertise, and that person is editing your book for you and meeting with you to coach you one-on-one in those sessions so that you have that support and accountability, right? And then the mentorship continues because we will be together, myself and you and this incredible community, in our mastermind sessions twice a month, right? So that that's where we're looking at those other parts. You've got your one-on-one writing coach for your book, but what about the speaking and your mindset and building the audience and visibility? And then on the alternating weeks, right, we're going to have strategy with me, mentorship, and then we do implementation. So just like we're going to do on Saturday for all of you, and you're all invited to our write-in, we call these power hours. So every other week, you're not coaching with me, we're together as a community, and we're doing what we call getting stuff done, GSD. So coming together with other people, like, I'm writing today, I'm working on my TED Talk today, whatever it is, and work is getting done and we're moving it forward, right? So it's our implementation. And then it can be so powerful to have deep relationships within the community. And so for people that want to, again, everything is customized for each individual member's journey. But if you want to have a success pod where you're together once a month with just a smaller group of awesome, incredible leaders who you get to know their vision, they get to know your vision, you have extra stretch and community and support, and people that are partnering, like partnerships have been born, joint book launches have been born in these pods. So phenomenal, and coached by the amazing Amy Fortney, and who's here with us this week. All right. And then we continue to support our process with quarterly strategy days, with other transformational experiences and masterclasses, so that we're always, again, on the cutting edge of whatever's happening, like we talked about Monday. What are the important needs of readers and clients now, and how are we going to show up and be authentic, high integrity, high contributing thought leaders to them? All right, so we have that ongoing through. The idea is that you have daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly support. I think of it like the bowling alley bumpers, right? Surround sound support. And the good news is that so far, I'm committed to this, everyone who has followed every step of the process that we teach has not only finished their book, has published and hit the bestseller list. And everyone that followed every step in the TEDx process and done all the steps has spoken at TEDx. So if someone's like, show me what to do and help me, give me the support and walk me through, then you are going to do it. It's not an if, it's a when, and that when is your time in TLA. So we already know that to do this a la carte took me $80,000. If you just hired the people that do the different things that we're talking about here based on your book outcomes, it's a minimum of $50,000. That's just the minimum industry standard, nothing fancy, if you hire all the different pieces of those book outcome visions. So we've had to find a way to do it for less. And if people just go off the street to our website and say, I want to join Thought Leader Academy, it's a $22,000 program. However, we do something special for anyone that is doing our events here at the Bootcamp. And so Thought Leader Academy is not 80,000 like it took me. It's not 50,000. It's not, 22,000. Those of you in this Bootcamp only, probably for the very last time ever, it's 16,000. And that can be in full, or there are options to do a payment plan and divide that up over 12 months. And to join, it's $1,000 deposit. So you can join, join us in Thought Leader Academy, say, this is where I want to spend the next year. I want to be where Tanya is next January 2026. And you do $1,000 deposit, and actually we'll bonus the whole rest of this month so you can get acclimated and get situated and get ready. Your whole year won't begin until February 1st. So we are opening that today for all of you at a very special investment so that this becomes something that gets to happen for you. And yes, if you want to do that, you can use the link, or you can chat with our team and chat with Marietta and just have a conversation to see if it feels like the right thing or how to figure it out, how to do it. And we're always looking for the different ways we can make sure that our members get maximum results in the fastest possible time. So that's why we're really creating the 5 programs in one. And even if you only wanted something to do with a book or just something to do with speaking, you're getting for the investment all 5 for what you would spend on one of them anywhere else. Okay, so that's Thought Leader Academy. Thank you, those of you that were patient and waited so we could share the details with you. And we're going to do a couple bonuses because it's the new year. And again, we're all about how fast can we get you results? So when you come in, you'll have a one-on-one strategy session with our team, and we're going to create a 90-day revenue plan. The goal will be so that you make back the entire investment of that $16,000 in the first 90 days, if that's important to you, because it can feel, even though it's not $80,000 like I paid, like a big deal. And so we'll have a 90-day revenue plan. Amber, I don't know if Amber's on. I was texting with Amber this morning. So Amber is one of our Thought Leader Academy members who did the fall boot camp. And she was like, I just really want to feel like I've got the revenue piece in place before I start working, so much on my book. And so she not only created 16,000 this fall, she created 40,000, right? And so that's so exciting because now it's all profit, and she's working on her book, and we were texting this morning about like, okay, we've got the title and the book's on, and that just was the right order. So everything we do at Thought Leader Academy is customized for each of our members. And we pull the curriculum and the plan and the order of things and support you to map that out so it's just right for you. And Sue, you were just asking, is it only available in February? Yeah, this is the last time we're offering it like this, in this exact format with this exact investment. So we do have Thought Leader Academy ongoing, but just not in this exact format and with these particular pieces. So you also are going to get to be featured on the Thought Leader Lounge show, which is our podcast, our live show. And I'm going to promote your book to our entire audience, which is already at 35,000 and is growing a lot this year. And so if you don't have an audience in that orange, arrow, you will get to use our audience and leverage our audience, and we'll be blasting you out and promoting you and supporting you to our community. So that's another exciting thing that we'll be doing over the course of the year for those of you that join us through the bootcamp. And just for the first 5 of you that want to join us right now, we're going to get together in about 2 weeks. I will meet with you and just our group of first 5, and I'm going to personally help you finish mapping your book. And we're actually going to create a 6-figure, that's a $100,000 revenue plan, so that you really feel like you're going into this year not only knowing what you're writing in your book and all the things, but I want to start getting you those book outcomes before your book is finished, while you're writing, including the revenue generation. So I'm so excited for those of you that feel like this is my place, I'm feeling it, I want to do it, this is my year, it's my game changer. So you just do your deposit and you'll be one of those first 5, and you can do that now. Or again, absolutely, if you want to have a conversation with Marietta, with the team, and make sure if this is the right fit for you or how to figure out the finances of it. Because what I absolutely know is that when I have said yes to whatever that structure, that roadmap, that community, that mentorship, and it has never felt comfortable for me to make a huge financial and time investment. But every time I've done it, that's been the thing, like I shared with you, that springboarded me to the next level. And what's happened over and over and over is that my 10-year plan has become a 1-year plan. And what that means in terms of legacy and ability to be prolific and ability to pay that gift forward of the book that saved my life has been incredible. So thank you all again for waiting until Wednesday. That we promised we'd share that with you. You've got the details now. You can talk to our team. You can get more information. We can share anything we want. We can talk about it in VIP. But we've got some writing to do. it's almost the top of the hour, and we've got these books to move forward because remember, coming up tomorrow, we're going to work on the craft. We're going to work on how to make the writing itself riveting, powerful, compelling, even if you're not a writer, even if your teachers didn't think your writing was good, even if you've got, fears about time. We're going to do craft and time, the craft of writing and time strategies tomorrow. And then Friday, monetize your book. Monetize your book. So let's close our eyes for a minute and take a breath. And if you don't like closing your eyes, just do a soft gaze forward. That's absolutely perfect. And just imagine yourself, whatever you think you're going to put on that book press release, that future bio, I want you to call that to mind. Calling that to mind and envisioning yourself, maybe like Tanya and Christina with your book up on that billboard. Maybe with your email inbox filling with messages that say, thank you. Thank you for writing this. I'm so grateful I found you. I'm so grateful that I discovered you when I did. You've changed my life. Maybe it's your calendar where you're seeing your days populated with podcast interviews and opportunities to collaborate and contribute with people that you've admired for years. Or maybe your bank account that has risen up is finally matching the vision that you've had for prosperity and the things that you want to contribute to and invest in. Breathing in, breathing out. And imagine someone's thought leadership that's changed your life, a speaker, an author, a visionary. And imagine that person in front of you now, handing you a torch and saying, it's your time. Lighting your torch with their torch. And seeing that torch of your legacy, your leadership, your generosity, starting to light the world in a way beyond what it's ever illuminated before. And suddenly realizing you can do it, you will do it. And it's happening now. Take a deep breath in and out. Maybe put your hands on your heart or your belly. Maybe give yourself a hug. And we're going to wrap in just a moment, but give yourself a scan and see how it felt to have that torch passed to you. How does it feel to know that you've been chosen by the universe to lead this movement this year? And just put a word in the chat. Even if you just have to pretend, just pretend even for a minute. Yes, Audrey, you did this the last year and your dream is now your reality. Absolutely. Surprising and full, Colleen. Trisha, I saw your question. If your book's starting the editing stage, yeah, then you would work one-on-one with our team in whatever capacity is best for you. Maybe that's about on your marketing. If you don't need the book editing sessions, you're working on marketing, you're working on your sales, your visibility. So we customize. Everything is customized for each person. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yes, you're feeling it, Evelyn. You're excited, Karen. Jackie got a wow. Trisha's feeling on fire. Yep. Great job. I truly believe the words of Rumi that what you are seeking is seeking you. And so I'm really excited to continue the journey with those of you that are committed, even if you're scared, even if you don't know how, even if it feels overwhelming, that you're a yes. All we have to do is give a yes. If you've read the book Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert talks about the ideas come to us and they're just waiting for someone to say yes, so that they got to go move on to another thought leader, right? Yeah, Christina, we're igniting the magic. So your homework tonight is to write up a draft of that press release. Start working on your plan for your strategy, mentorship, and community. If you're excited to continue with us, we are going to go all in for you and with you. And you can do your deposit. That can be your homework so that you get in to do the mini retreat with me. I'll be so excited to do that with you. Map your book and create your revenue plan together. All right. And then bonus for our super achievers, do another story bank, right? Because tomorrow we're going to work on the writing. All right, everybody, this was our vision day. You liked the torch to torch, Dion. Awesome. So sending you all so much love. Make sure to book a time with Marietta if you want to chat and have some one-on-one support here. VIP, we're going right over and continuing the party. And I'll see everybody back here same time tomorrow, 12 to 1 Eastern time in the main session. VIP starts right now. I'll see you guys there.